The Objective News Network, JPMorgan Chase Bank has a rap sheet longer than your arm. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. Welcome to our broadcast for Friday, September 8th, 2023. In past stories, we've shared the results of our investigation into the biggest mortgage fraud scheme that has ever occurred. The scheme is the result of a racketeering, influence, corrupt organization involving JPMorgan Chase Bank, their legal counsel, and several corrupt judges in the New Jersey and federal courts. Our investigation has revealed the modus operandi of the RICO enterprise. JPMorgan Chase calls unsuspecting homeowners and fools them into believing they have purchased the mortgage notes on their homes. The bank tells the homeowner that they are the new servicer of their loans and that homeowners must refinance their homes. JPMorgan Chase Bank then refinances the homeowner's loan at a higher mortgage rate than the homeowners can afford. The minute they default on a payment, JPMorgan Chase Bank swoops in to initiate a foreclosure proceeding on the victim's home. Since JPMorgan Chase has no legitimate proof of ownership documentation to initiate a foreclosure action in the courts, they forge what they need by altering and tampering with documents and forging signatures. The role of the judges involved is to suppress the evidence of fraud from ever entering the court record, so that the fraudulent and malicious prosecution of foreclosure can move forward to a sheriff's sale of the person's home. We here at ONN have been working with the nonprofit think tank, the Institute for Complexity Management, to investigate the RICO mortgage fraud scheme. All of ICM's evidentiary materials can be found at their website. Today, we are going to use authentication to walk through JPMorgan Chase's past track record. Generally, honest and ethical organizations try to do things the right way. Looking at a company's past behavior often gives you important insights to how they are actually behaving. Authentication is a software that locates only the most credible sources of information off the internet so that you can create logical conclusions based only on true and valid facts. So, let's start off by trying the assertion. JPMorgan Chase Bank has been fined. The authentication truth meter immediately tells us that this is a true and valid assertion. In the answer box, we see that JPMorgan Chase Bank is approaching $39 billion. Let me say that one more time. $39 billion in fines for anti-competitive practices, security abuses, mortgage fraud, and other violations of the law. Let's take a look at this URL. At this supporting URL, the Justice Department reports a $920 million fine for 8 years of scheming by JPMorgan Chase Bank to defraud precious metals and U.S. Treasuries markets. Next, at this URL, the tracks fines, we see that JPMorgan Chase has paid over $38.9 billion in fines to the government since 2000, with one fine, just a single fine in 2012, alone costing them over $5 million for mortgage abuses. Next, let's go to the next URL. At this URL, we're told that JPMorgan Chase wrongly charged 170,000 customers overdraft fees. But guess what? Federal regulators refused to penalize the bank. Okay, at this point, I think we all have a good, objective idea about the frequency and amount of fines that have been paid by JPMorgan Chase based on credible reporting. Last, here's a special report at Better Markets that lays out JPMorgan Chase's long history of fraudulent and dishonest dealings. So, let's go to the next assertion. Let's type in JPMorgan Chase takes people's homes. At this URL, we are advised the CEO and chairman of the board of JPMorgan Chase and Company, Jamie Dimon, is spending billions of dollars buying up homes for rental rather than purchase as part of a plan to create a multi-billion-dollar rental business vertical that will make much more money for the company than the conventional approach to mortgages. Some critics allege that Jamie Dimon has simply devised a rent trap scheme that will destroy the dream of home ownership for millions of Americans. Of course, foreclosures on homes would mean the creation of yet other properties that JPMorgan Chase could then rent as part of its bigger business plan. Okay, since JPMorgan Chase Bank has been found by the Institute for Complexity Management to be altering, tampering with, and actually forging proof of ownership documentation, let's go ahead and type in this simple assertion. JPMorgan Chase Bank has poor record keeping. At this supporting URL, we are told that JPMorgan was fined $200 million for record-keeping violations. Let's go on to the next assertion. JPMorgan Chase Bank has been caught in mortgage fraud. At this URL, we are told that JPMorgan Chase paid a $614 million fine for underwriting non-compliant mortgage loans. By now, I think we can draw some logically unassailable and objective conclusions about JPMorgan Chase Bank and the customers and the company's trustworthiness and its ethical conduct. Here at ONN, we use syllogisms to draw only unbiased, objective conclusions. A syllogism consists of a major premise, a minor premise, and a conclusion. The only valid conclusions are those where the major and minor premises of the syllogism are proven to be true and valid. In other words, statements of proven fact. In this case, it looks like we can unassailably conclude. Major premise. JPMorgan Chase has been fined over $3.8 billion since 2000. Minor premise. In 2012, JP Chase was fined over $5 million for mortgage abuses. Conclusion, JPMorgan Chase Bank is not a trustworthy or ethical company. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. It is what it is for Friday, September 8th, 2023. Thank you for watching the story. We hope that this gives our viewers a better idea about the critical thinking we do here at ONN in preparing our stories to only give you news analysis that is objective and factual. We look forward to seeing you the next time.